Welcome to a very special episode of The Person Behind the Pen. I am incredibly honored to be the one to throw a pre launch book party for someone that means a great deal to me. She is not only a very close friend and a work colleague, she is a person that I greatly admire. Her creativity is off the hook. Um, and I have to say, she's been a tremendous support in my life when I am feeling miserably because certain programs won't um, listen to Nick. I reach out to Jenlyn, and Jenlyn makes sure that she ropes that in for me. When I first met Jenlyn, um, gosh, and I couldn't even say when now, and that's the odd thing with my friendships almost. I feel like I've been in them forever with the people I'm very close with. And so there's like no concept of time when I've met them. It's like that was my executive remote producer back there, my big brother, Aaron Gibson. I know we joke around, it's been like 3 years, but I feel like I've known Aaron my whole life. Um, he just knows me that well. And Jenlyn is one of those people that gets me. She gets my vision. She understands what I'm building. So, when I said, look, I really want to be the one to throw this party for you, she's like, yeah, let's do it. And again, it's such an honor to be able to do that, especially because Jenlyn joined me on three of the anthology writing projects by Guiding Brilliant Writers. Well, it was gifted bipolar writer at that point. I'm still the gifted bipolar writer. Um, and just to see her now going from writing a few chapters in a few different anthologies to launching her solo book is incredible. I hope to follow in her footsteps and get there one day myself. She also bestowed upon me another, honestly, it's a gift. In fact, I think when I saw it, I was really thrown for a loop. I I didn't consider that someone would necessarily find me in a position or um, would feel that I necessarily have gathered, and I'm probably going to throw myself under the bus here, but gathered that amount of credibility to offer her forward in her book. And that, writing that was, it was a little bit difficult. It's very different when you're writing your own story or even a fictional story. But this is about objectively writing about somebody that I am close to, while also giving the honor and the highlight to the story in the book, as well as defining her as a writer. So, without further ado, I'm going to ask Aaron to bring up the beautiful Jenlyn. Hello, how are you? You look
Hello.
fabulous.
Oh my
You
God,
look
thank you so much. I was thinking that I
Oh,
love
you
you in red.
look. Well, I am honored to be able to do the show for you. It's something that I do regularly these days. And it's just like I get to the opportunity to look at the various people I've written with me go on to do other things, right? Other collaborative projects, other solo projects, spread out into even changing careers. But you're the first one I think that's going like solo straight with a book. And so to me, it's like, oh my God, just talk about leveling up. This is crazy. Um, and I see so many of your friends out there in the audience, our friends. We just want to welcome everybody and thank you so much for being here to
Thank you.
celebrate with us and to also celebrate this audience. Obviously. How are you feeling? Like,
Um, I am just letting you know that I can hear you, but it's also a little cutting in and out on my side, I think. So I was feeling, and I am feeling really, really good, really super excited, and at the same time, just emotional. And just because as we're doing this, it makes it all real. It's all real that I've accomplished this thing. And it's just super exciting. And I'm so honored and glad to get to share this with you, my wonderful, beautiful sister from another mister, and then everyone, of course, in the audience. I love seeing all of your faces because I see your faces, not your names.
I know, I think we've reached a point where, it's not names, it's not faces anymore, but like we feel each other's hearts. We
Yeah,
absorb each other's thoughts. I'm not really sure what's happening with you guys. I'm really very
it's just
sorry.
me.
Mm, I'm seeing in the comments though that both sides. Yeah, so I don't know what's going on, but
Okay.
we're gonna keep plugging on through here. Ain't no gremlins gonna spoil this celebration. I can tell you that much. Um, this beautiful woman has worked way too hard to bring this to life, and we are going to celebrate this with so much joy for her today. Um, so, Janan, I am going to ask you, even though I feel like most people in the audience know you, there may be people looking who are not commenting and we don't know you're there. So, you got to say hello. Tell us a little bit about who Jenlyn is.
Um, Hi, my name is Jenlyn, and I am a very multi passionate, neurodiverse author. And I am I'm a little bit of everything all mixed into one. That's what I feel like. That's what I'm going to say today. I don't want to talk about my business because this is separate from that, even though I do talk about that there is no separation because there really isn't. But there's also some big changes coming because it's a new year for me, and most of you all know that I shed my skin quite often, especially around this time of year for me. So there's big changes coming with that too. So, but as an author, I stretched myself this time, not just in writing the memoir, but and also changing my writing style, playing with the style of writing that I used. So I um, would say that it's still dynamic, is the word I would use to explain
Well, I
myself as
certainly
an
got
author today.
yeah, I certainly got an opportunity to explain some of that. Being privileged to read, like I feel like I don't want to say too much, but I feel like honestly, the world is not ready for this book, but it's coming. Whether or not you like
It's
it,
coming.
and the world needs this book, whether or not it wants to admit it. Um,
Mm.
I've known you for some time, and I know, like you say, you're a person that sheds your skin because you are always outgrowing and evolving. And every time you step into a higher realm of yourself, you shed that skin. For those of us looking on, and I could, speak for myself, it is quite magical to behold because Every time I think that, oh my goodness, she could not come with something more, she tops herself. I'm like, this is crazy. Um, you know, I would say that when I started my journey a couple years ago, and I'm so new to all of this, I didn't really think too much about what creativity was, like seriously drawing or something like that. Now, the understanding of creativity is, you know, on a completely different scale to me. But when I think of where I am and when I think of what I see you produce um, across everything, including your writing, it's just light years ahead of everything else that I've encountered. And I think that, the audience, whether they're reading your work or, believe it or not, now with what's happening with Sing Your Song, it's there's so much visual there. And then I see this book cover and I go, damn. So, like, it's a little bit of what I do as well, but there's an aesthetic that you have, like your writing, it's beyond compelling, right? You can't not look. And then when you do, you can't turn away. Like,
Mm.
there's so much depth in that graphic of the book cover that, while I'm producing little things here and there, because, I have throwing all my weight behind your promotion. And every little thing I'm looking at, I'm like, look at that little flower there. Oh my God, just look at that little spark of light and the way the shadow falls there.
Mm.
So just the book itself cover um, conveys so much of the depth of what's in there. And then you're going to get into the meat and potatoes of this book and you're going to dive so deep, you're not going to be able to surface for a while. I'm telling you right now. You got to make sure that there is no space for you to read this book and share that space with anything else. So, like, I would love to ask you how it is you capture that, but this is the essence of who Jenlyn is and how I've come to know you to be. What inspired you to write the book? Or, like, if you don't mind me asking.
Yeah, no. So what inspired me was it was kind of a two-part fold. Every year on my birthday, which is September 5th, I challenge myself with an epic goal. And last year it was to do this memoir. This year, by this time next year, it's going to be a movie on the silver screen. And so that's how I top myself, right? I just keep growing and topping myself and stretching and growing. And so that was part of why I chose it when I did. And it birthed itself in the overflow of the projects that I have done with you. And that is in the anthologies, which I've written in 6 now, maybe 7. As you start to lose count. And with each one of those, there was so much more that I had to share, so much more that I had to say. And so I thought, essentially with the throwovers from that, I have a book and I should just do that, take advantage of the time to challenge myself, but also tell the rest of the story. And so that's what I did. And I saw earlier too that I know Mary Baker, hello Mary, has asked a couple of questions too. But before, I wanted to answer those two before I forgot. So one was, what do you do with writer's block, or and how do you keep inspired around writer's block? And so for me, when I'm feeling I hate to say that I don't experience blocks in that way, um, but not in the same way I think other people do. If I need a moment to get reconnected, though, um, I take a few moments to breathe and allow my body and mind to reconnect. And usually that's enough. And if it isn't, then I go deeper into what it is the actual block is. A block is not just something that's there, there's something deeper, there's something behind that block. So am I in resistance to what's trying to come up to write because it's too emotional for me? Or, what is it what is the block? And if I do those things and still feel that I'm just not in feeling it, which I did experience a lot when I was younger, then I'll go back to something either that I've read, or I go to someone that's inspired me and I will read their writing, which for me in the anthologies is really easy to do because I've written with about 40 or more phenomenal co-authors that I have, and I go to their work.
You know what? I think that was an excellent question as well, because I think there are writers that are sprint writers and there are writers that are marathon writers, and very few can do both. And when I say very few can do both, I mean um, not everybody has that stamina for the longevity that it takes to write a full book. Um, and even when they do, I have now encountered so very many people because of the business that have come to me in all different parts of their book. They started it 20 years ago, or they're almost done, but they're just not ready to hit that publish button. Um, so I understand what it takes, and I understand I want to say the fight for the inspiration, because the inspiration's there, but it's keeping yourself motivated and on track writing, even if there isn't an exact end date in mind, um, without letting it fall off too much or too long, right? And life has a sneaky way of just taking over and really, you
Mm.
know, could cause that to happen. So I am celebrating everything about the fact, and the book's not even here yet, but I'm totally celebrating everything about the fact that it's a done deal. It's done. The book is shut, and it's ready to go out.
I,
So go ahead.
I have to say that I always had a great deal of respect and admiration and awe for what it is that you do on the publishing side, and that um, I made a deal with myself that I would spend no less than an hour every single day for the year. And I did that. And then some. I have had so many days that I spent 10 hours and still uh, going through that mad dash of getting it all formatted for the different formats, and all of those things is such a challenge, and it comes in a timestamp that you have no idea to be able to say, well, this is how long it's going to take me, because you really don't know. And so there was still that mad dash and dive through that I really pushed through at the very end, that I'm like, that was the cracking point for me. Not really a cracking point, but the point that I'm just like really pushing, and I pushed a little hard physically. I felt it. I had a couple of seizures this last couple of weeks, and I haven't had one in a really long time. I pushed really hard, and it's beautiful. It's beautiful because I pushed myself past where the last time I came this far where I was, right? So sometimes it's those little things that let me know, now, yeah, now I reached the new territory. Now I'm ready to shed that skin because now I'm in some place that's new and unknown to me. So it's beautiful and exciting, and but yes, I mean, and the way you do, you are not just doing a novel or a book. You are working with, you know, in the trilogy, 36 authors at one time. Like, it is incredibly challenging. And I just have to say that, because I don't think that you don't know what you don't know. But then when you do, man, it's just incredible. You are incredible.
That's why I'm so happy for and proud of you. You know, publishing is something that can be learned, of course. It takes time, and of course, it takes a ton of patience. And like Jenlyn says, the truth is, calling a launch date and meeting the deadline is not easy, because there's so much that is not dependent on you actually as the publisher. So when they say run, you take over the sprint. It's as simple as that. So you prepared a couple of things for us. So I will let you lead here if you would like to share with us a reading, or if you would like to share with us the book trailer you created. Where would you like to lead off?
Music is actually a really big part of the book, and at the beginning of every book, there's a small overture, in just a few sentences, kind of explaining the bulk of what the chapter is through song. And so it feels very appropriate to show the video first and start with the music, and then I'll dive into sharing a little bit and I'll read just a short bit for you all if you want. I'm going to need to see some hearts or some yes, please, that you're interested in hearing a few lines.
Okay, you guys heard that in the audience, okay? So beautiful, can I say handsome executive remote producer back there is going to do us the honors. And then we need to definitely see in the audience there, I need to see some blue hearts. Blue hearts means we need to hear you read some of this.
Please. I love it.
Between silences, the body speaks. I was the wound as the witness. Now I am the doorway. Rest on the tongue. Silence like tar, a child pressed against invisible glass. Every bruise, a hidden constellation. Every fracture, a map back to myself. Survival is not shame. To endure is not to live. Difference is doorway, not defect. Love is rebellion.
Wow, that was incredible. It was so abstract, mysterious. Um, like I could I could kind of see the blossoming of a storyline with the start moving forward, but then there's so much like questions. Like, what did that mean? Did that picture mean what I think it means? I just there's so much mystery surrounding. I mean, from my part at least, um, that now I want to know what in this book drove those visuals. Um, that was
Mm.
absolutely beautiful. And I speak about your creativity all the time, but and I honestly feel when I think of your creativity, sometimes it is very abstract. It's very abstract to the Jenlyn in the moment, um, the project at the moment, and I think that that's what makes you so unique. I'm sorry, that it is constantly changing with you. Like we never know what we're going to get with you, but yet we know all the strings of what we get with you are tied to the core that's Jenlyn. That was just insane. Thank you so much. I saw like 100 hearts up there. People obviously want you to read. Um, so by all means read. Um, and time permitting, we will share a bit of the forward that was written. Um, so my
Yeah.
incredible friend, you want
Oh,
to read? You want to
I
forward?
will.
This is all you. This is
Yeah,
your
no,
night.
I'm ready to share. And I also saw a question about the music and the visuals. And so reminds me, and I'll circle back to that. Something very, yeah, something. Yes. So essentially, I'll go ahead and answer that really quick. There are things in my book that are hidden for you, and they will include QR codes. There are links that will take you to other things, and some of them are songs. So, after or as I was writing the book, I had the idea that, I have written also a couple of songs, and of course, the music itself is. Ran through a program, but the lyrics are mine. And um, so essentially, I will be doing a full out reading of the entire book. And in between chapters, there will be full songs and video throughout the entire oral book. So that's something that I am absolutely doing. And thank you all so much for all the love. And I absolutely do love seeing and feeling what you're feeling. And it is one of the most amazing feelings in the world to be able to share and feel that. And I do feel very deeply. And it's amazing to know that what you want to share is received and loved. So thank you all so much for the love. Um, Mary Baker just said, "Fire them up," and I do want you to know that the very last three words of what I'm fixing to read to you are "light them up." So intuition, my good dear friends, my dear ladies. So I'm just gonna read just a little bit. So here we go. This is in a chapter that is called "My Songs Know What You Did in the Dark." Real for me is not raw for its own sake. Real is tender to what needs tending. Real makes the list and keeps the appointments it makes with herself. Real honors the tremor and learns where to set the glass so it won't topple when the train passes. What the dark knows about me is no longer leverage against me. It is my archive. It is the temperature I check before I go out. It is the map on the wall with a dozen pins and string connecting the coordinates. A pool, a dock, a trauma bay, a stage, a kitchen at 2 a.m., a desk with a lamp where I wrote myself back into my own custody. My songs know what I did in the dark because I taught them. I sang to the hurt rather than over it. I let percussion be a heartbeat, not a gunshot. I tuned my instruments to the frequency of a life that carries both crows and butterflies and stops apologizing for the noise and the quiet that they make. On the night the arena turned its lights back on and people shuffled down aisles sticky with soda and memory, I stayed in my seat a minute longer. I watched crew coil cables. I watched a man sweep confetti into a dustpan, his broom moving like a metronome, keeping time for the end of the day. The stage looked naked without the band, a mouth after the song. I love that part, the unglamorous teardown, because it's where the magic proves it was made by hands. We drove home with the windows cracked to let the heat escape the car. We did not dissect the set list or rank this show against others. We let it sit like a stone dropped in a lake, listening for the ripples. At home, I washed my face with the good soap. I rubbed balm into the tattoos that ask for attention. I drank water as if it were an encore. I set out 2 mugs for the morning because tomorrow deserves ceremony too. And then I wrote 5 sentences on a receipt and left it under the magnet shaped like a lemon. We are allowed to burn and not be burned up. The stage is portable. The brand is a body. Keep it fed. The dark is an archive, not a threat. Save rock and roll means you save your own life loud enough to hear it. I turned off the kitchen light. In the hall, a night light made a soft halo on the floor, and I stepped into it like a small stage and bowed to the empty room, not as performance, but as a vow. The quiet clapped in the way quiet claps, by loosening its shoulders and letting me pass. Tomorrow I will wake and build another doorway. I will make tea in a cup that knows my fingerprints. I will sit down to work with a body that has learned to partner with its own weather. I will press 2 fingers to the sparrow and walk. The city I am building hums around me, not finished, not perfect, but lit from the inside like a backstage corridor right before the show. Light 'em up.
So many times during the reading, I wanted to say we got you, and it was not a piece that could be interrupted. And that's exactly why I said, when I share the forward in a little while, you will understand why it is I said. This is not a piece of work. This is a piece of somebody's whole being. You can't read this in one go. It's not possible. You're going to have to sit and marinate with it. You're going to have to reread it. You're going to go back through the same chapter and pick up different things a dozen times. There is just too much packed into each of those sentences. And the way the wording is put together, it evokes the emotion she wants to evoke in you, right? And so you are going to be on this roller coaster of emotion. So I'm going to leave that there. But I want to thank everybody that's here. I want to thank the incredibly supportive comments that are coming in. You guys know this woman's soul. You know many of her struggles. And I think that as writers, people can sometimes feel that it's a natural talent, that the words just come tumbling out. It is like that sometimes, but it isn't always. And even with the tumble of the words, you don't necessarily get what you want to express on the first round. So there's so much that goes into writing. There's so much energy drained. You know as a writer when you've hit the mark because you are drained. Your brain is spaced out, your body is sagging, you are crawling to your bed because the absolutely only thing that can rejuvenate you is sleep. And so I felt it in the bones of this book. And I knew that she's there. She's there with me in those moments where I wake up and I'm furiously scribbling because I'm dreaming words and they have to come out. And I am having trouble finding the words to express how I feel about this. How do you feel having given voice to it in front of people now?
Yeah, no, I love it, and you know that I love to demonstrate to the world that you can be broken open in the moment and bleeding out, and we need more of that. We need more of that in the world because we are all doing it. So why hide behind the curtain? And I'll share a secret. I'll share a secret. There is more to come. There is more to come. And I do want to, and sometimes sometimes I forget that I have a warning label. And that warning label is, if you're not ready to know who you are, don't come in the door. Don't come stepping through the door. Don't open this book if you're not ready to know who you are, because this book is my life, but it's yours too. It's just life. It's just life. And so, and I choose to live life in such a way that I can hold up that mirror and have the strength to hold that mirror for others. And, but sometimes I forget that. And so thanks for reminding me, and thanks for telling, everyone else, because that is the truth, is that it's deep, and it's, and beautiful, and, but there's cracks and grief and joy and anger and, while I was writing this book, the one thing that I viewed a lot and made sure that I was really connected to before I started writing, was that view of myself, on a stage with as many people as the eye can see, with the light shining into me, exposing it all of it, and being in a space that was accepting, not only accepting of that, but expanding into that, because that's what's important to me.
I think that in some respect was the perfect lead in to me sharing the forward, because what I absolutely respect about Jenlyn is she asked me because she wanted me to. And when I sent it to her, she did not change a word. She did not say, I don't like that, and I feel like when people write, they write and publish for so many reasons, right? And if that part isn't shining the spotlight on the book in the way that they would want it to, they could very easily ask for changes. And I can tell you, never haven't been given that honor. If anybody were to ask me and wanted to change a word, I'd be like, find someone else. I'm not the person to write it. And I think that Jenlyn knows this about me. And that's why I felt even more connected, if it were possible, because the same way that I honor her words is the same way that I feel she honors mine. So, all right, let's do this. Okay. Who is this woman, this Jenlyn? Taboo was one of the first words shared in the was one of the words shared in the first reverent sentence offered about her. Instantly I thought, is this someone I want to know? How naive and judgmental of me. A woman who prided herself on being non-judgmental, and in that moment I realized naivety is a word that could describe me. I have not lived enough. She entered my life through a mutual friend and profoundly affected it in a way I didn't realize I needed. Hit hard. Her appearance, the contradiction of her soft spoken nature, and her melodious voice that seemed to draw you into a trance. I had never imagined such ethereal beauty could coexist with such fierce, relentless resiliency. Jenlyn was the first to submit her work to me as part of a collaborative trilogy I was publishing with 36 authors last year. The imprint of a story left on my soul burned deep into my mind than any hot poker could burn into flesh. Still, the weaving of her words made the pain sweeter, something I wanted to embrace. What began as an editing exercise of her work ended with her schooling. Today, though I respect that as a writer I have my own style, I often reflect on her ability as a writer to draw you into a different realm, one parallel to existence, to our existence, but the nuances of what could be, if only we allow the awakening within us. In less than a year, Jenlyn penned three stories that Guiding Brilliant Writers LLC was blessed to publish, and after her first piece, I knew that this woman needed to and would one day publish her solo book. Her knowledge is too vast to be confined or contained within a few themed chapters. A union curated from a shared writing experience blossomed into a friendship so deep its roots have taken immortal hold. The alignment, not of acquiescence of each other's ideal, but a healthy respect and open heartedness to learn where our similarities and differences both define and individualize us. Her dedication to presence is all that is genuine, has garnered from me an admiration rarely evoked by others. The Long Doorway is not a read, it demands absorption. It took me a full week after reading it to allow it to permeate my pores and feel that I was in a space large enough to encompass its contents. Even now, the space feels restricted. Becoming is not an option, it is inevitable. When it is up to each of us, it's inevitably is not stepping stone. It is the enlightened path that we must each walk to become. This is not a book. It is not another story. It is what souls within today's society long for. Understanding of our uniqueness and place within this universe is not as a result of birth, choices, or directives. It is a declaration. I am. The band-aids will be ripped off for you. Your dressing reapplied will cleanse the wounds, mend the bones that you did not know were broken. And you will be baptized by the shards of broken glass flying at you from the mirrored image that never was. If you are ready to be awoken from a slumber induced by the expected confirmation of rules, regulations, and narratives imposed upon you by any external factors other than the true reflection, then I urge you to hold within your hands the space of herself that Jenlyn offers up to humanity, her humanity, our humanity, which is hurtling toward a time of repair. To search is to deny what one has always needed to be was always within. Nick, the gifted bipolar writer. I have to tell you, and when I wrote this, I I questioned myself. Um, I talk about it a lot on social media. I don't use ChatGPT. I don't have it installed on my computer. So every word I write, I write. And I really have to sit with something when it requires this depth from me. And I knew that I owed every single drop of what was inside of me to this. Um, and I just want to thank you again. It's an honor that I don't know how to express my gratitude for. So
Thank you so much. It was so beautiful. And I do want to be very clear because I do not use ChatGPT in my when I'm authoring, right? And another thing that I'll be very clear with you about is that I didn't read your foreword. I didn't read your foreword. So
Oh
just
my
listening
God.
to you just now as you read it, it's the first time that I'm hearing it, and it was so beautiful. And I
Oh
couldn't
my
love it
God.
any
I
more.
was like, she didn't say a single word. She said, thank you. And I thought,
I said
okay.
what I knew was going to be true, and that was that what you said was beautiful. And because I knew that you were going to bring yourself an honor to me in it, and I just I told you what I knew was true, but I didn't actually even read it because I didn't have the time.
Well, that's because you needed to hear it here and now. You needed to hear it for the first time this way
No, I
at
didn't.
a time when you shared what inspired you to do this, what challenges you faced doing it, creating the book trailer for it, um, and all that everyone in the audience is sharing with you about how they felt about what you shared with us here today and the reading that you did. It Even though that's what you would normally start with in a book, it almost made sense that it ends the show this way because it's accumulation of, truthfully, two people who have got to know each other, but at the very start, I didn't even know if this is a person I wanted to know. And it speaks so much to what is happening in society today,
Story of my life.
right? And that we we pick up a book and we see a cover. Most never go deeper to read its contents. Most will never know what that book was about. And that's the honor that I think that we give to each other
That
before.
hurts my heart. Like that.
It does, and it hurts my
I
heart
have to
too.
say, like hearing that, just like I could feel it in my heart. There's so many books that are never opened, and we do that with each other um, too much. We do that to each other too much, and what a travesty and a missed gift it would have been to me if you had have decided that no, I don't want to open this book, because you could have made that choice and you didn't, and I'm so forever grateful, because that ache lets me know, even though I do already know, but it lets me know even more how much you mean to me and how much I love you as a human. So thank you.
Of course, and how very much I love you as well. And I hope that not only have we offered you congratulations and expressed the way that we feel about you, not just as a writer, but as the iconic woman that you are.
Thank you. Yes, so much.
That
Like I'm
me,
just overfilled.
for me, it's so much of a full circle where I almost didn't know you. And if this isn't the proof that you need to keep an open mind and an open heart, because you do not know when you would miss that universal connection that you were meant to. So, with that, we do have to start closing. And I want to thank our executive remote producer for the incredible work he's done. And I want to thank the audience for being here. We're going to go back and answer all the questions. There was one tiny little thing I have left, just a minute and a half. And that, my friend, is a gift to you from me.
Something just doesn't seem right. See, you see, I'm on my side. We gotta fix this. Hold on a second. There we go. Jenlyn, congratulations on the long doorway. Had a quick moment, wanted to pop in and just say 100% I am with you in spirit and celebrating this moment. Congratulations, yo. Nothing but big burly hugs, and we'll see you soon.
Congratulations, Jenlyn. The long doorway makes its way to the world. I can't wait to get my copy.
Hey, Jenlyn, so excited for you and The Long Doorway. I know Nick and Guiding Brilliant Writers are going to make sure that you get out to everyone. And I'm excited to read the book. Take care.
Hey, Jenlyn. It's Leslie Flowers checking in to let you know I'm excited for you and the release of your book, The Long Doorway, this week. I can't wait to order it and read it. I'm very happy for you.
Another launch by Jenlyn. I'm so excited. Get it into our hands. We can't wait. Love you, Jenlyn. So proud of you.
Don't cry, my friend. Please.
Oh man.
I really I have to thank the people who sent in these videos. I've not been feeling my best these past few days. I was really excited, looking forward to this, and I really leaned on them to be like, help a sister out to get these to me. And with that, just the biggest love, congratulations, admiration. This is just another layer being peeled back, and all of us here are going to be with you for all the rest of your days. We just love you. So thank you. And if you have any last words, Aaron's going to close this out with your video.
Between
To me in my life. Yeah, that's good. And then we're back up on this.
between bones, the light waits. Between silences, the body speaks. I was the wound, as the witness. Now I am the doorway. Rest on the tongue, silence like tar. A child pressed against invisible glass. Every bruise, a hidden constellation. Every fracture, a map back to myself. I am the long doorway. My Survival is not shame. To endure is not to live. Difference is doorway, not